Hi guys, I guess this is live now. I was waiting to hear the little chinky thing. This is my first time using the Google Live setting, which I'm still using Google Plus as my bridge there, my platform for putting out the videos. But this video is a very quick video concerning the debate that took place last night between Bill Nye, the science guy, Bill, and Ken Ham, the Creation Evidence Museum founder. And the debate last night was about the validity of creation science as a valid modality for teaching science to children in public schools, and what impact that may or may not have, and is it valid, and so forth. Is it valid? Considering all the scientific advances that has taken place in the last, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, as it pertains to evolution and what we know about biological science as actual, provable, testable fact. And so that debate went on. It started relatively slow, and so it took a while. Sort of get Ken Ham went first, and his argument throughout the entire debate was pretty much summed up in this fashion. There are people who agree with me. They're really smart. They've gone to school. They have the same beliefs that I do. So therefore, my beliefs are valid. Aside from that, I have created a distinction between observational science and historical science. And so this distinction that I've created basically has clearly demarcated a difference between what we can now observe in real time and what can or cannot be observed in the past. And since we cannot observe the past, we only have observational science, and since no one knows what happened before, any theory can go. And since there was only one person who is still alive that was alive in the past, and that's God, and then he didn't change that with Jesus. The only person who's still alive today that was alive in the past is God, and so his word gives us a historically accurate account of creation, of how everything came to be, and so therefore we can believe his testimony because he was there, and so forth and so on. And so that's his, pretty much his argument. And aside from the fact that he pretty much shoes radiometric dating and sedimentary layers and so forth and so on. Anyway, the point is that the same rhetoric that you would get from Ken Ham and other people who deny the authenticity of evolutionary biology, and who deny the authenticity of an Earth that is older than 6,000 years. There are plenty, which he never seemed to really focus on, this point that Bill Nye made, which was that there are plenty people who have religious beliefs, including Christians, who do not subscribe to the young Earth theory, the young Earth ideology, as it were, as literally interpreted from the Bible in English. In Judaism, of course, Judaism has no issue with that, and that was a really big point that I think could have been driven home between, well, at least Bill Nye could have. I think he sort of very briefly touched on that. Well, if you're dealing with the Old Testament, the New Testament has nothing to do with it. And if you're talking about creation, I mean, you need to talk about the creationary aspect of young Earth versus old Earth from an Old Testament Jewish point of view. And that never really got driven home. Anyway, the debate went back and forth, and what was very obvious from the beginning, especially with the flyers that were put out and the graphics and all the things, and it's being hosted on Ken Ham's web channel, and this at the museum, the Creation Science Museum. It was a PR ploy. I mean, he used Bill Nye's success and fame as a modality to be able to be on the same stage as legitimate science, so that he can sort of legitimize his position. Bill Nye consistently referred to it as Ken Ham's view. Ken Ham's view. Ken Ham, of course, he took it and said, "It's not just my view; it's everybody's view. It's God's view." Blah blah blah. Anyway, so that was funny. Ironically, Christianity Today put out an article concerning the debate. Well, basically, they just put the video on, and they also put a poll, little widget on that particular, and you'll see it if you're on my blog. I actually have it, and I think I'll put it in the description portion of this video here on YouTube. But the poll, ironically, it was like 32,000 people voted on the poll on Christianity Today's website, and the poll has Bill Nye winning by 98%. 98%, which is very ironic, very ironic. So pretty funny stuff there. But what does that say? Of course, I think Sam Harris said this morning, it was fun watching his tweets and responses yesterday, Sam Harris. But Sam Harris had said this morning on his blog, when he had posted about the debate, that one of the things that's happening is a lot of young people are leaving religion, they're leaving Christianity, and they're leaving a dependence on the Bible as a source of valid information, specifically as it pertains to history and science. And if the Bible can't be trusted in the areas of history and science, then why do I want to govern my life by it? Trust me, I've been there. I know exactly that position. I've always known, especially when I was even a believer, wholeheartedly trying to govern my life and my family according to the tenets of the Bible, the Ten Commandments, keeping Torah, being a good Jew, and so forth. The problem always was there. The question of inerrancy of the Bible, of course, was never a question. I mean, we knew there were errors. I mean, being a textual critic, as I was, even though I was a believer, these errors were not issues for me. It wasn't until I really started looking hard and long at the claims made by the Scriptures and weighing that against things that I never even really considered valid, like, okay, well, if there was a global flood, then there would be this evidence. There'd be this evidence for this. And so, and as we look at the world in reality, we begin to know and recognize that the claims, the supernatural, spectacular claims that are made by the Bible require miracles, including Noah's Ark, which was a big part of the debate, the whole Noah's Ark debate, and the ability of the Ark itself to be not only created by 8 individuals. Noah is supposed to be, I guess, maybe 600 years old, if I remember the story correctly at the time, which is okay. But, and then the Ark's inability to remain seaworthy, especially in rough seas, as it pertains to, and we know this to be, there's historical evidence of very large wooden ships with an inability to remain intact in tumultuous seas. So, that being said, the whole Noah's Ark thing, I mean, highly implausible. The number of kinds that would be required to be on the ship, and then basically 4,000 years of genetic variation. Let's say just with dogs, to get all the different breeds of dogs, say from a lupine, a primary, a primal sort of wolf creature, and then we end up with pugs and toy poodles and so forth. So anyway, 4,000 years, is that possible? We haven't seen human variation as broad, I don't think. But anyway, needless to say, especially in 4,000 years, it's too short a period of time. Anyway, with all that, the debate was, I mean, it was interesting. It wasn't riveting necessarily. One thing that stood out for me above anything else was how gracious and pleasant Bill Nye was. I would have responded, because I know me, and I'm working on trying to be more, amicable in my communications with people concerning things, and it's something I have to work on. I have to consciously work on it. But Bill was so gracious, and he was so non-abrasive in his responses to Ken Ham. He didn't use adjectives, colorful adjectives like I may have used. You dumbass, what the hell, I mean, that would have been my response. Some of his facial expressions indicated that he was quite puzzled by some of the responses, but his responses were themselves quite gracious, and I really respect him for that. So anyway, that's that. If you have any comments on this video or the debate itself, please make sure to comment in the comment section underneath this video, or if you're on the website, if you're on the blog, then comment in the blog via Discus. Aside from that, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, tweet it, twerk it, whatever you need to do. Help us get the word out. Subscribe to my channel. We're going to be doing more and more videos here, especially in the area of philosophy and science, which is sort of my primary venue. All right. See you later, guys.